Welcome. So, thank you so much for coming to this lovely little gathering. Now is the short formal part of the occasion. I'm very pleased to introduce my dear friend and colleague Jessica Townsend. Jessica is, among other things, the inspiration behind MPWatch. And MPWatch is the first organisation that the Climate Majority Project ever incubated. So if we become, incredibly successful, they will still always be the first, which is, kind of rather wonderful. MPWatch is proving, I think, a splendid success, drastically growing, holding MPs to account all over the country, proper bottom-up citizen action. And Jessica has very kindly agreed to say a few words today about the Climate Majority Project book, which we're having the local little launch event of right here and now here today. And I should just say, with sort of full disclosure in mind, that Jessica also has a chapter in the book that is very, very good, but it might make her slightly biased, but in any case, she's agreed to say a few words. Jessica, over to you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Actually, to be honest, we've had slightly crossed wires because I thought I was going to be talking about MPWatch, but I shall say some words about the Climate Majority Project book. I'm Jessica Townsend, co-founder of MPWatch, as Rupert said, and the aim of our project is to put pressure on constituents so they will intervene with their MPs and make their lives difficult unless they do that. I'm very glad to be part of the Climate Majority Project because they not only gave us some seed funding at the beginning, and Rupert and Liam, who are the co-founders, have given us an awful lot of support and mentoring, but we've also met people through being part of it, such as George Marshall, Mike Berners-Lee, who have given us hands-on support. Mike Berners-Lee has been part of the campaign, and it's slightly changed direction as a result of his doing that. And George Marshall has allowed us to experiment with something that we're calling citizens-led focus groups, which means why should we just let the political parties and the chocolate companies spend lots of money on finding out what people think? Why don't we as citizens who have campaigns go out and talk to other citizens and find out what they think about what we're doing? Because otherwise what we're doing is a kind of pig in a poke. We're just following our own gut instincts. And George Marshall, because of his climate outreach work, has been an excellent person to guide us through that. And I met him on a weekend in Bidston, which was a Climate Majority Project weekend. One of the great things that the focus groups have done, it has allowed us to see that our campaign chimes with everyone. So we're not just doing net zero, although that is our primary aim. We also, because we don't think that we can get to a position where politicians take a lead without a new radical honesty in politics, we're also pushing for higher standards and honesty as well. The good news is that when in the focus groups, one was with a soft conservative group in northeast Somerset, which is Rees-Mogg's constituency, and another was in Wickham with people in food hardship, and both those groups said, why hasn't there been a project like this before? Constituents should be talking and putting pressure on their MPs. They should be working for us. A lot of people, particularly Extinction Rebellion people, but also a lot of people in the general public, have given up on politics. But I take solace from the work of Donella Meadows, who says that if you change the, what does she call
paradigm.
If you change the purpose of a system and the relationships within it, then you can completely change what a system is. And she uses economics as an example of that, and says that if you look from the outside at economics, its function seems to be to get the economy to grow bigger and bigger. She points out that often the purpose of a system might be quite different to what anybody within a system would intend. But if you look at it from the outside, now I think at the moment politics is serving political parties rather than us, the constituents. The whipping system and the way the Conservatives have been running things recently shows that it's not working for us. Everybody agrees with that. The people in food hardship in Wickham said it's a proper mess. One very interesting thing that we found was that was shame. The people in hardship kind of felt ashamed. They felt shame about the country. They felt shame about not being involved themselves. But it feels too painful for many of those people to engage in politics because they don't trust the outcome. And one person had actually put his head above the parapet and kind of invested in Boris Johnson. So he feels about Boris Johnson the way I felt about Tony Blair, not so very long ago. We're very grateful to the Climate Majority Project for enabling us, starting us off and continuing to mentor us. One thing that the project is doing is providing a way of coming together about leadership, so that people within the smaller organisations can have a place to go and talk about what it's like to be a leader, because I never trained to do that role. I just sort of entered activism and ended up running a project. And I think I've got a lot to learn, and I'm looking forward to that. So I will end. Please buy this book. We have a chapter in it about our project. There also is a very local project based in a village where Jules has taken over a local pub and is growing things locally, and that project couldn't be more grassroots, and that one in particular seems to be very inspiring.
Yeah, that's just 20 miles down the road. Anyone doesn't know it. I farm.
And so for those of you, I think Rupert's going to tell us some stuff about the science. When I feel despairing about this, this book here, Together by Ece Temelkuran, is a good place to go. She's a Turkish writer. I don't know if many of you will know her work. And she thinks that where hope is failing, we need to rely on faith. And she doesn't see faith as, it may be for you, something religious, but she sees it as kind of faith in humankind. I'm a Buddhist. There's a word called Shraddha in Buddhism, and it also translates as courage. Faith isn't a kind of good translation of it. And what she says is, hope is just a timid code word that implies the need for faith. Today's political movements, the ones that are determined to set a new direction for humankind, or are proposing an exit from our political and moral maze, should not neglect the people's need for and ability to have faith. As an explosive word, as explosive as the word faith may be, it also sits at the very core of the questions of political action. We should all come to terms with the fact that faith is and can be the only reason to act when all is lost. Because believing gives us the ability to make promises with the determination to fulfill them, to create beauty, all sorts of it. And she ends with this metaphor. My hand does not pat yours while you are reading the menu of the restaurant Hope. I seize the Hope menu from you and put my finger on your chest, saying, I believe in you, and you can believe in me. You must. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jessica. I'm really glad you quoted from Ece Temelkuran and that book Together. I was introduced to actually by John Alexander, one of our great friends in the Climate Majority Project, and it is an absolutely amazing book, really important book for our time and our moment. I just want to say a very quick word about that moment. I just want to share with you a tiny bit about what's in my heart, friends, because well, some of you were here last year at this time, and things have got a lot worse since then. It's been the worst year for the climate ever, and we are now in such desperate trouble. And I do struggle in the way that Jessica was alluding to sometimes, to remain hopeful and to keep the faith. And at times like that, I think what we're trying to do in the Climate Majority Project is a sort of last chance, really, for that kind of work. And obviously, therefore, I'm really hoping that it works. And if it doesn't, what we will have left is our friends and our communities that we need to build against the very challenging times that may be coming. So I'm glad to be here with you as friends and colleagues and potential and actual members of a kind of community, and I hope that we can enable things to turn out better in the way the Climate Majority Project is trying to do. If you want to find out more, obviously the book is here and is available. As for today, I think of the old phrase, eat, drink and be merry. And I really do mean that. We never know how long we've got, and that's particularly true right now. So I hope we can have a splendid day today in this wonderful weather, even though the prognosis may be hard. So some dear friends are bringing round some traditional items with which we help ourselves to be merry, and hope you'll partake of a little of this, and we can have a little drink together and mark the occasion in that way. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.